If you've been in the FGC long enough, you may get the feeling that in order to get any amount of attention, you have to be really, really good at the game. And I've seen this belief even just keep people from getting into the scene in general. I had a talk with one of my friends from the Cincinnati FGC about this subject, and this is that conversation. Enjoy. I feel like we've talked about like very lightly in passing whenever you've like first started doing this, your transition from doing very limited Street Fighter stuff to moving fully into I'm going there. It's like fully into Dead by Daylight.
It was a weird transition. So and you know, like Dead by Daylight still has like that little sprinkle of fighting gameisms to it. Like there's like techs and like optimal things to do, and there's a skill curve, and certain characters are harder than other characters. So there's kind of stuff that's like similar in terms of just the general attitude of how you play it. Of course, the format is completely different, but like the general attitude of, you know, doing things optimally, not leaving damage on the table, that sort of thing. Just those aspects are similar. So it wasn't too terrible to like devote like all that time to that. I have more hours than that than Street Fighter now. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I think my Street Fighter hours are like 998 or something like that, and my Dead by Daylight is like 2090 something. So yeah, bypass that a lot. Once again, when you play it 5 days a week, that'll happen.
Yeah, it all just adds up.
And I think that's a good thing for like anybody in like the fighting game scene too. It's like you don't have to be competitive. You really don't.
Yeah.
And I see them. Like I saw those dudes while I was playing. Like, you know, like both me and Austin were like that. We're like, we lose, we take it really hard, and it sucks. But like there were also dudes that like I beat that were just like, yeah, yo, GG's, fist bump me, and they would just go talk to their friends, and it was like the best day ever for them. Mm-hmm. Like now I understand I'm that person. I'm not the guy that like I'm only happy if I make top 5. Like, you know, like I thought that's what I wanted because that's what I was expecting. I think in the FGC in particular, like getting sponsored by a team is like the biggest way to like monetization with that hobby. Yep. So being good is a big stressor, you know, and also like obviously the respect of your peers, and like, you know, there's not a whole lot of like room to grow in like a fighting game community, because like fighting game communities are pretty niche. So like the Twitch, like, you know, the Twitch categories are always lower than like an average game, because like it's not like Dead by Daylight where like it's the only game in its genre for the most part. But like fighting games, there's like Guilty Gear, there's Street Fighter, there's Fighter Z, like there's so many games you can go to that trying to like herd everybody in is like really hard. So you either have to be really, really good, run tournaments, which is like what you did, or like how, like we were saying earlier, like put your personality into the brand. Like that doesn't really, I don't see a lot of people make that work with like, you know, fighting game content. It doesn't really like work out for them a lot, and I think that sucks because that's like I hate that like that gateway is not the same, but like that put a lot of pressure on my brain. Like I gotta be good, so people give a damn about me, and it's like, no, you can just go to your local and hang out and do whatever, nobody cares.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that from like the fighting game perspective has a lot to do with our roots, because for fighting games for like forever, from the earliest of like arcade days to like some of the first Evos to even to now, we didn't have money, and whatever money that we had was maybe enough to like get food after the local, but other than that there's really not much there. So you're really just like playing for pride, and like that like collective history of like, oh, I'm the best in such and such city, I'm the best on like this coast, that just like places a lot more like weight on things like top placements, whatever money that you earn, your online rank, which is becoming increasingly less important in the COVID times for various different reasons.
The competitive sphere of any game is how long do you play, and not really how good you are when it comes to like an online environment. In tournaments, people are training for matchups, people are training to beat certain players. People you are like, that's why tournaments were so fun, is because like people, I'm like even when Kage was like bottom 5 in the game, there are people who like labbed stuff against my character. I'm like, why do you care about him? He's a baby. But like they knew it and they stopped me, and I was like, damn, that person's devoted. But like online, it's just kind of like, if you play enough, you're gonna run into enough shitty people that you beat that you will eventually go up. You know? Like, it's just playtime, if anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this fallacy of skill that doesn't actually exist. It's just kind of like appearing that way just because you got enough shitters.
It's like, congratulations, you got to Grandmaster rank with a win rate of 55.
Yep. I think that speaks louder than anything. I think that speaks louder than anything is that you can make that all the way up there with that low of a win rate.
Yeah.
You don't know your shit. You're just running into like it just so happened that day that you got a like 8 characters in a row that you happen to lab a lot against, and now you're raising up in ranks, even though you're gonna get a Fang that just like beats you up at the moment he goes up on screen. You're like, I don't know what this character does. But hey, you know how to beat Akuma. There's a lot of Akumas. There you go, Grandmaster.
Yep.
So that is the online fallacy.
Let me know what you guys think of this conversation in the comments below, and while you're down there, make sure to also like this video and subscribe for more videos like it. If you also want to check out some of the stuff that Headache does, he produces a bunch of videos on his YouTube channel at the Mr. Headache. Thank you guys very much for watching. I've been ShaolinPretzels, and as always, stay salty.